I was burying my father when two men in fake uniforms tried to arrest me. No warning, no shame. Just stormed in with tactical boots, HOA patches, and zip ties, like they were running some backyard dictatorship. What they didn't know, I'm the damn chief of police. The sun was barely dipping behind the trees that day, casting this soft golden light over Wesley Hill Cemetery. It was a quiet service, no speeches, no pomp, just how my dad would have wanted. He was a public defender for over 3 decades, a man who fought for people no one else would. He taught me the law is only as strong as the people who believe in it. So yeah, I showed up in full uniform, not to show off, just to honor him. Quietly. We were about halfway through Psalms when they showed up 2 guys in black shirts and cargo pants, strutting across the cemetery like they owned it. One had a clipboard. The other had that fake authority swagger, you know the type. At first, I thought maybe security from a nearby neighborhood had wandered over by mistake, until one of them started pointing directly at me. The tall one, bearded, pulls out this laminated badge like it means something and goes, "Sir, you're in violation of Section 14B of the HOA Code regarding public gatherings." I said, "This is public land. We've got city authorization. Who are you?" And without missing a beat, he says, "Officer Jared Hayes, Wesley Estates HOA. You're in breach. You need to come with us." Right then, I look over my mom's under a canopy, trembling, clutching her tissue. Guests are staring. The priest stopped mid-sentence. Then I see the second guy pulling out a plastic zip tie, and I think, no way. "Not today," I said. "You're trying to detain someone during a funeral on city property." Hayes fires back. "You're obstructing enforcement." Obstructing what grief? Then I took out my badge, held it up, not yelling, just clear. "Michael Thomas, Chief of Police, Ash Grove County." Silence. Zip tie guy froze. A guest whispered, "Oh my God." Hayes tries to puff his chest again, says they're operating under HOA authority. I said, "You tried to arrest me at my dad's funeral, and you're preaching peace." He says the cemetery is under zoning review. I ask who complained. He says it's confidential. At that point, my mom is sobbing, shoulders shaking, and I'd had enough. I said, "You have 3 seconds to step back and tell me who signed off on this joke." Hayes says, "Are you threatening an officer?" I said, "You're not an officer. You're playing Halloween in April." Then my guys showed up, Lang and Medina, real officers. I didn't even turn. Just said, "Process them." Bearded guy bolts, gets 2 steps before Medina brings him down. The other one pulls a fake taser. Lang disarms and cuffs him clean. No yelling, no scuffle, just efficient. 30 seconds. Done. But it didn't stop there. Turned out these 2 weren't freelancing. They were part of something bigger. Their HOA president, Martin Bell, had been running the whole community like a private regime. Fake violations, bogus fines, targeting anyone who questioned him. We found people who got fined for flying a flag, letting their grandkids visit drawing chalk on the driveway. You name it. And folks complied because they were scared, or tired, or didn't know better. Until this happened. After that arrest, stories came pouring out. A single mom whose water got cut off after skipping a voluntary donation. A vet told to remove his military emblem. A retired teacher cited for auditory disruption because her grandkids were laughing outside. It was absurd, and it had gone on way too long. I launched a full investigation. Found over 30 formal complaints. Fake badges made with clip art. citations for land outside the HOA's jurisdiction. Bell had been running a full-on psychological operation using the image of authority to scare people into silence. I confronted him at a public board meeting. Press was there, neighbors too. He tried to spin it, said it was all just about maintaining order. I asked him, does order include sending fake cops to a funeral and intimidating families in mourning? He didn't answer. Not a word. A week later, I served the warrant myself. He looked stunned, like he genuinely thought he could talk his way out of it. We arrested him for impersonating law enforcement, unlawful detention harassment, and more. The HOA was dissolved. The bylaws gone. Fake enforcement unit disbanded. And something changed. I started seeing neighbors chatting on porches again. Teenagers set up lemonade stands without fearing fines. One elderly woman walked up to me after a meeting, put her hand on my arm and said, "You made us feel safe again." I'll never forget that. A month after my dad's funeral, I went back to his grave. The new headstone had just been placed. Simple. Solid. It read, "He stood for those who could not stand alone." I stood there in full uniform, same spot where it all blew up, and whispered, "You were right, Dad. The law's supposed to be a shield." I remembered. Behind me stood the same neighbors who once feared speaking up. Now they stood together. No speeches, no ceremony. Just a quiet kind of strength you don't fake. So now I gotta ask, do you think those HOA guys were just clueless pawns? Or were they fully on board with Bell's power trip? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Ever seen a neighborhood go full dictatorship like that? Let's talk about it. And if you've ever had a run-in with an HOA that went too far, I want to hear your story. Let's shine a light on this kind of nonsense because real authority protects people. It doesn't scare them.